I do want to let you know that Bobby Kirby has left the meeting early to go down to downtown Flint to the meeting to actually speak. I ask you to please continue to send your letters to them for public comment, because they do have to read those as if you were there. So it's really not much time off your back and a lot of time out of theirs. So if we could keep them there longer, reading 100 letters from you guys, that would be fantastic in regards to inspection ordinances, if you want to write about that, or the potential storage of your tenants' items. That's the biggest one we're fighting right now. And I think I already asked you guys to silence your phones. If you could do that, that would be great. And so we can get out of here once the speaker's done. If you could put in your calendars, our next meetup is going to be at Aubrey's. That's right downtown Grand Blanc, and Aubrey's Pizzeria right on Saginaw. And that's Thursday, October 28th at 6:30 p.m. And she's got a couple speakers coming for that. There's flyers on the table, so you guys can make sure you put that in your calendars. I do encourage you guys, if you don't have any piece of paper now, to get one from up here so you have something to write on the back of, to take notes. Today our speaker is Jason Romanack, who likes to fly under the radar, so some of you guys may not know who he is, but very successful landlord, and one of those landlords who's a little bit secretive about how he has achieved his success. And today on the phone, with a lot of twisting of his arm, I did get him to come up here and share some of his some of the ways he runs his business. So he runs his business doesn't run him. So if you could please help me welcome up here Jason Romanack.
You guys know what a good business he has. You all need to clap.
Hey, Brian. Thank you, everybody. Not really a public speaker, so bear with me. Can't say enough great things about the Genesee Landlord Association. I've been a member for many years. Nothing but great things to say. They've taught me so much. So I just want to give a shout out to the Genesee Landlord. I appreciate it. So one thing I was asked to do is come up here and speak about one of the biggest things that helped me to grow. And one of the things that helped me to grow the fastest was by putting systems in place. So, for instance, how many hours are you guys working a week right now on your rental business? Are you working 40 hours a week? If you are, you can't grow anymore. You can't physically buy another house unless you want to start working 45, 50, 60 hours a week. And I don't know about you, but I signed up because I want to be a real estate investor to make passive income and have time with my family. That's why I signed up. All the books said that, all the programs said that. Everyone said you're going to make tons of monthly cash flow and be able to spend all that money doing what you want to do, not unclogging toilets and working on rentals all day long. So if you could keep an open mind, if you're working a lot of hours, you're going to hit a ceiling where you can't buy any more rentals. You can't get any more income. You will max yourself. But if you had tenants that are taking care of your properties, paying on time, and not calling you, how many properties can you buy? All of them. Every single one. At that point, you don't have a ceiling anymore. So, what are systems in place? The biggest thing that we need to get back that systems give us is our time. So if you're working 40 hours, we need to get that chiseled down. Let me give you an example. Who's had a call from a tenant because the toilet's plugged, or the sink's plugged, or anything's plugged? So what do you guys do? Call someone, go out there and plumb it yourself. So you could call someone. You call the sewer guy up, tell him to go over to 123 Andy Street. He goes, you got to then call the tenant. The tenant says, he'll be there in 2 hours. You got to sit there. He'll be there in 2 hours. 2 hours will go by. Sewer guy calls you up, says they're not here. Where are they? You call the tenant back up. Oh, I just ran up to the store to go get some cigarettes. I'll be there in 10 minutes. You call the sewer guy back up. He'll be there in 10 minutes. He's going to get cigarettes. Sewer guy calls you back, and 20 minutes later, he's still not here. You call the tenant again. Where are you at? Oh, I need to drop off my kid too. I'm on my way. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then the sewer guy finally gets it done, then he calls you up, and oh, you gotta meet me at McDonald's at this corner and pay me right now because I need the cash. You wasted half of your day to fix someone else's toilet. Has that ever happened before? I'm speaking to myself, by the way. That's where I came from. So one thing we do is we don't do any of that stuff. Tenant calls the sewer company. They deal with it. You call them, you schedule it, you take all that. And if it's because of too much toilet paper or Legos or they buried the whatever, the stuffed animals, you pay that bill because you did it too. I don't get those phone calls. The only phone call that we would get is, my toilet's plugged up. Great. Go to the folder that we gave you when we moved in, call the sewer company. If it's because of sand, roots or gravel, we'll pay the bill. Like that has to happen. But I'm still not going out there. I'm still not coordinating any of it. So it took me 5 minutes to solve that problem. Worst case scenario on a phone call. Other people it takes a half a day. I don't want to be wasting a half a day on someone else's problem. So, systems in place. So let's talk about systems. How many people have or even know what a policy procedure manual is? Just show of hands. Who has one? Okay, I see less than 5% of hands going up. Okay, so policy procedure manual is your systems of how you run your business. Now you can buy a policy procedure manual online. It costs anywhere from $50 to $400, $500, $600. And they'll print it out for you. You can put your name in there, you can put your address in there, they'll put it in a leather binder, and it'll look awesome. Is that how you run your business? I mean, it's a bunch of words that don't mean anything. Like, you can't even take it to a court and say, this is our policy procedure manual. The judge will say, well, how do you do this? Would you even know what page to turn to into something like that? So it's completely worthless at that point. Your policy procedure manual needs to be your living, breathing document of how you run your business. So a policy procedure manual is not, I buy houses, and then I rent houses. It's not even, when I market them, I put them on Craigslist. Policy procedure manual is the complete breakdown where I can take the manual, give this gentleman, walk away, and he can do it for me without having to talk. It will say, not go to Craigslist, go to www.craigslist.com. Put in username. Step 3, put in password. Step 4, and you just go through the steps, submit, and it's done. That took no time from me, no training was involved, and if this gentleman was my secretary and had to quit, what if I spent all my time teaching everything that I do and that you guys do, and built this secretary up, and now they are running the company and something happened to them? Can you imagine having to do it all over again? That would suck. So I encourage you to build a policy and procedure manual. It is not something that is you're going to whip together overnight. It's going to take time, but it can be very simple. When you do the next Craigslist ad, just take a second to write down the steps that you did. How many times have you forgot how to do an eviction process? You've done it before, but then you didn't go through an eviction for a while, and you forgot a few steps. It's frustrating. You gotta look it back up, you gotta make a phone call, you gotta call your buddy, what do I do here, what do I do on this form again? Versus if you had it printed out step by step, if you're doing it all yourself, you can just physically pull the pages and go, done. I'm back playing with my kids. I'm back out with my wife or my husband. I'm out back on the boat or whatever your thing is. Not spending a half a day on how do I fill this form out? Did I do it this way? Did I do it that way? Now forms change. So that's why it's a living, breathing document. It's always getting updated. When something changes, you change it in your policy procedure manual, and it keeps it updated. So at first, it will look like a daunting, project that you have to do. But the thing is once you do it once, it is done. You don't have to do it again. So how many of you guys have a secretary? You don't have to raise your hands. If you have secretaries, they can do this for you. That's the best training experience that your secretary will have. How do we learn? We learn by hearing, we learn by writing things down, and we learn by doing. So, if you hire a secretary or have a secretary, you tell them what you want to do, they write it down as they are doing it, and they physically do it and hit submit if it's put it on Craigslist. I'm just using that as an example. They've done all three things that people need to do to learn. Now, does that secretary know 100% how to post your property? Versus if you just said it and do it, like you just said it, they're going to do it and they're going to miss something, forget something, and then next time they're going to forget about a third of that. It's going to be even worse next time. And then you have the conversation of, why didn't you do this, why didn't you do that, blah, blah, blah. You're just wasting even more time. Yep. So if that secretary hears it, writes it down, and then does it, she never, or he never calls you again about that process. That problem has been solved. And if that secretary leaves for whatever reason, Secretary 2 knows exactly what to do. It's done and fixed for you. So that's what systems do, is they fix the problem. How many times have you guys had to fix the same problem over and over and over? Like, that is what the policy procedure manual will do, is it stops the problems. I do not spend my time managing properties. I spend my time buying properties and flips. That's what we do. The managing part is easy. Once they you put it into a system, this secretary does this marketing girl does this. So let me back up to, I say marketing girls and I say secretaries. For me, that was a hard mindset to break. I'm not going to hire a secretary. I can't afford a secretary. I can't afford someone to do this. Does anyone have that thought going through their head? Your secretary will make you money. It's not the other way around. Your secretary makes you money. How long does it take to file your eviction? If you don't do it very often and you don't know exactly how to, just whip right through it, you're going to easily blow through a half a day before you get to it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm open to correction. I'm open to hearing things say. If you don't do it all the time, how do I do this? Did I do this? Did I feel this all right? You second guess yourself. You go make a sandwich. You come back. You do this. You call a friend. So it took a half a day to do it, but you probably put it off for 3 days before you even got to that point because it sucks. So now you've got a vacant property for 3.5, 4 days versus paying a secretary for 10 minutes of their time to get it on the market and get that thing rented, and now you're making rent for those 4 days. Not paying the taxes for vacancies is priority number 1 in my company. I know we only pay taxes once a year, but it's prorated every day. Same with the insurance. Same with liability. So vacancies are my number 1 priority. When something goes vacant, we get them in there turned, we get them back on the market. And when you have systems in place, when it's ready to go, my agent or myself, calls the marketing girl and just said, it's ready, go hot. That's all we have to say. She goes to step 1, step 2, get on the market, step 3, do this, take the phone call, set up the showings, all the way till we get the applications, and then we put someone in. So that sounds great, right? That sounds wonderful, like, let's do that. So where do we start? Any ideas? That all sounds wonderful. Like when I heard that for the first time, I was like, that's great, sign me up. But I didn't know where to start. So where do you start building a policy procedure manual? Any questions? Any comments?
Hire the secretary.
Okay, hire a secretary. And we can talk more about we can talk later or offline how a secretary makes you money. That doesn't have to be a conversation right now. Yes, in time, but there's other ways that she physically puts money in my pocket all the time that I would not have done anyway. Like she's physically paying me to work for me. That's a good thing. So let me give you an example. All right. So this is my policy procedure manual for my company. At first, it's daunting. I agree. But it doesn't happen overnight. Okay, guys? Another thing is by hiring a secretary. I didn't print a single word in this. I didn't type a single thing in this thing. I didn't put a single sticket she built this entire thing for me. And she runs my entire company. And it doesn't cost nowhere near what any of you guys are thinking. There's a lot of good people out there that want my secretary stays at home. I don't have a brick and mortar office. I don't need it. I don't want to pay for it. That's just overhead. I don't want it. I don't need it. She works out of her home. My marketing girl works out of her home. Actually, I've never even met my marketing girl, I'll tell you the truth. That's even better. She built this entire thing by starting with me a few hours a week. And then it went to a few more hours a week. And it went to 10 hours a week. And then she went to 20, then she went to 30, then she went to 40. As she was building, as she was doing more and more, as she was learning, then she got to a point where she's like, I don't want to work 40, I want to work 35. Awesome. Well, hire me someone else. And then she trained my marketing girl, because she didn't want to take phone calls. So, what's in this? So, everything in here you guys can do. I definitely believe in the KISS system. I know you guys all know what that is. I don't have property software. I don't have any of that fancy stuff. My stuff is on Google spreadsheets where me and my agents can see for free, and it's all up there in the cloud, wherever that is, and I can pull it up live whenever I want it. I know whoever's not paying rent, by pulling up on my phone on Google Drive, red means you owe, green means you're good. My kids can look at it and be like, Dad, 123 Street, owes you money. Yeah, they do. So keep it simple, and this will work. If you forget something, you turn to the page, it's step by step of everything you need to do in your business. So I'm not going to stop and ask certain questions on this, but let me rattle some things off so you guys can just feel what kind of things are in here. Starts out, her first page is just what is her weekly responsibilities, monthly and yearly. I mean, like weekly, she picks up my mail, she does payroll, she runs reports for me, stuff like that. Monthly, doing 7-day eviction, more payroll stuff, different things. Yearly, she's got to file water affidavit renewals, 1099s, LLC renewals, stuff like that. But your first couple pages are just your mission statement, I don't know how to say other stuff, but fair housing, your operating agreement, the IRS, your EIN number, like all your important blah, blah, blah government paperwork. You know what I mean? Then it just starts simply with, what do you start with first? Well, first you buy the property. So you got to get consumers in your name. You got to get water in your name. This is exactly how we do it. These are the phone numbers that we do. This is who we talk to. This is our EIN number. Like boom, 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 boom. It's done. It's taken care of. We got consumers portals, so we can put all that stuff in, and it's all taken care of. The property transfer affidavit, did that get filed? Did you do a rental inspection? All these things are printed out, and she's got them all color-coded. I don't know if you guys can see it. She just circles her little notes in here. This is how it's filled out for each property. I mean, a third grader can do this. This is not complicated stuff. How do you market a property? Where does it go? What is garbage? I've got garbage days for all the townships. What's the square footage on that property? All the information. Your Craigslist thing, it's all copy and paste. Everything is copy and paste. When you go to Craigslist, or 123 any street, copy that, boom. How many times have you gone there? Oh, it's been a while. What did I put in there? Pretty little, gorgeous, fenced in. What, every time you guys, did you write it perfectly? Who cares? They don't care. Read that one back, boom, 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 bullet point, get it out. Just copy, paste, done. The headline, everything is copy and paste. Just get it done. So, speaking of getting it done, one of the biggest things that my coach gave me, advice, was done is the new perfect. I say that all the time to myself. I used to think that I could cross all the T's and dot all the I's and do everything. It's got to be the pretty little white picket fence above, when you got to write the Craigslist ad just absolutely perfect. No one cared. That didn't generate any income. That didn't make me anything except waste more time. Getting it done, getting it on the market, getting it rented, put cash in our family's bank account. That worked. Done is the new perfect. Now, I'm not saying lower your standards to where it's, affecting your business. I'm not saying that. But don't get beat up on the little things. Get it done. Not, I've got this vacant house that's been sitting here for a day, 2 days, a week, 3 weeks. 3 weeks, seriously? That should be making you money. It should not be vacant for 3 weeks. And I'm open to someone disagreeing. I've got no problem having an adult conversation with someone. The flyers that we put in the house, we don't show the houses. We just set up times they go in the houses and they go see them. I don't need to be there. They don't need us there. They don't need us looking over the shoulder. I'm definitely not going to waste my time putting cookies in the oven and putting the potpourri thing in that the books say. I don't show up to a single showing. They come in, do them, put the application online. We approve and deny them and move forward.
Jason,
Yeah.
can you tell more about how you don't go to the house and how you actually set up the showing for them to go through?
I can if we got time afterwards.
Okay.
Let me run through that and bring that up later. That's a whole other thing. So like I said, I don't really want to go deep into this. Just want to show you how easy it is to build this. Because at first it does look huge. But has any of the thing I've said complicated yet? I mean, it's literally crayon and napkin stuff you can write down. And then you can have your kid type it up for you if you can't type. I two-finger type. So, how do you market it? What are the websites that you put it on? And then when you put it on the websites, like here's the Craigslist one. It's a whole page, step by step. That's how it's done. I don't say put it on Craigslist. This is exactly how we put it on Craigslist. Step by step. I don't have to think anymore. I just go there. Yep. That's all the secretary has to do. For Facebook, for MailChimp, for putting on the Genesee Landlord Association. Step by step. How do we do it? I'm not going to remember all that stuff. My secretary's not going to remember that. Just look it up and do it. Okay, then we show the properties. How do we show it? How do we set up the appointments? What are the top 10 questions that people ask? I mean, how do I view it? Do you have any other homes? Do you have Section 8? Is Flint City water safe? These are questions that most applicants ask. So our marketing girl gets these questions. She reads them. These take care of 95% of the questions. Whatever few are left, she calls my secretary, gets the answer. But it's not even the answered questions. They just want to get in the house. They don't really care about this. They're just trying. How many times do they call you? You put on there 3-bedroom, 1 bath, $500 a month. What's the first question? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? What is the rent? Like you had to read that to find my phone number. They don't care about that. They just want an appointment to get them in. So here's some quick talk. Get them in. The pet policy, blah, blah, blah. We even got it broken down to when we hire a marketing girl, we tell them, or guy, after a set amount of time of you learning, we're going to have one of our agents call in and you won't know. Here's the questions they're going to ask her. Did she pass or not? Like we follow up with these people to find out if they're doing a good job. There's putting systems in place, but then there's also backing things up so you know things are getting done. It's not just a plug it and walk away and you're on your yacht all day long. You've got to follow up and run your business, not let it run you. If that makes sense. Then they're going to do the application. How do they qualify? What do they need? Here is this is just done on Word. Did you call the employer? Did you call the past employer? Did you call the current landlord, the past landlord? Did you check out the courts, the tax records for the person that owned it? Did you look up Otis, Google, Facebook, the sex offender list? Did you run a credit report? Check, done. Red flag for this reason. You're not approved. Get all the way through it, you're approved. Put them in. And this keeps it all legal and legit too. We're not discriminating. Everyone goes through the same process. So if someone ever came back and said, you discriminated, I can take this, and I do take this to the court, and you win. Every time. This is our process. Versus if you bought the one online that just looks impressive in a leather binder, it's completely worthless. Because I consider buying one of those, that's why I bring that up. I've got a list of landlords that I have in here that my secretary, when she sees that one of you guys own a property that they're applying for one of mine, she'll call me up and she'll like, hey, call up Brian. You know, I'll call Brian, hey Brian, I've got someone that's applying for one of my house, they live in your ABC house. Where they moving? Did you know they're moving? No, I didn't. But you can take them. Or, yeah, I didn't. You know, they told me they were moving because of what I'm selling the place, they're great. Like, that's how we work together, guys. You know, it's give and take on that. So I've got a list of you guys that actually do, you know, share. Holding resident military, how to deal with all that kind of stuff. Then they move in. Here's our move-in folder of exactly what it looks like, what we give them, the lead-based paint booklet, how to pay the rent. The form that Henry keeps talking to you guys about, it's in there. It works. Do you want an inspection? No, we don't. They all sign. No. Who would say yes? I don't know. I've never had someone say yes. But we fill out their name, date, and everything. Sign, initial, done. That's all they got to do. Sign, initial. She even puts the little cute little red arrows on. Like, you can't make it any simpler than that. And that form's done. The lead base, the house rules, procedures, the list of charges that they will be charged when they move out if they're broken. So here's one, guys. Let's pick one. Closet rod. If they move in, there was a closet rod in that closet. It's now missing. The agent takes a picture of it, and then when we take them to court, there's a picture of a broken rod and a form that they agreed to pay $25 for a closet rod. There is no discussion from the judge. We get $25. Plus whatever else. Plus when you do the transmittal, here's all your numbers. It's done. We're not going through, how much should I charge for that? How much should I charge for that? Well, is that fair? That's all time.
Yeah.
Just blow through it, transmittal's done. Kick it out. I want to be back with family and the kids. That's where I want to be. Not doing this. None of this is why I signed up for. The 30-day, the pet agreement, top 10 questions, of course the lease. How to pay the rent. You know, everything's in there, and then the inventory checklist where they fill that out. You guys all know what that looks like. Okay, so then we got water affidavits. You guys, am I going too fast? Are we good? I know I get to start around. We're good? Okay. I just want to give a big picture, not necessarily that deep. Water affidavits. They're all different everywhere. How do you fill out the one in Burton, the one in Flint Township? How do you fill out the one in Mount Morris? How do you do the one in Beecher? Well, that's how you do it right here. Here's a sample of this one. Here's a sample of Flushing. Here's a sample of, this one's Beecher. Here's this one's Flushing right here. That's how you fill it out. It's done. It's just fill it out, move it in. You know, you buy another house in Flushing, that's how it's going to be done. So there's all water affidavits for different cities. How do you then manage the tenants now that they're in the house? Here's questions that they typically ask. How do they, you know, someone want to transfer, they like this house that you also own. What's the process to transfer a tenant from one of your houses to another one of your houses? Well, this is how we do it, step by step. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah, man, it's cloud truck around, invoices, more samples. How to kick out 7-day notices. How to do the evictions. Here's all the court paperwork. Here's how you fill it out. It's real easy, guys. Here's all the courts where you're going to, depends on the property. Here's exactly how you fill out each of the forms. I mean, they're right there in color. It can't get any simpler. So, does this take a lot of time? Yeah, it takes a lot of time. But you're not doing it one day. You're just doing what you do on a daily basis right now. Right now, you have an eviction in the city of Flint you're dealing with. So when you fill out the form, when you're done with it, run it through the copy machine, put some green and red circles on it, and stick it in a folder. Like, that's not complicated to do. Next time you do it, oh yeah, I gotta check that box too. Like, why would you want to solve a problem you already solved multiple times again? It's already solved. Move on. tenant moving out, what do you do? How do you get the transmittals out? How do you take care of that stuff? Did they get the 30 days notice? We send them a move out pamphlet too of how do they get the water back into, or out of their name back into ours. Same thing with consumers. It's all right there for them. So when they say they want to move, she prints out a move out thing, throws it in an envelope. That's it. Even the envelopes are all in there. She just doesn't Word document. So when a new tenant moves in, she takes out the old tenant's name, puts in the new tenant's name, or the address still stays the same, everything else stays the same. She just types in that tenant search for, pulls up, hit print, envelope prints out, it's all professional. She prints out the move-in packet, it's all copy and paste stuff. I mean, she changes, the things that are highlighted are things that she changes. The date, the name, the security deposit amount. She fills in, and if it's City or Mount Morris or wherever that thing, she fills in 4 lines and hits print. Puts it in an envelope, sends it out. Now when they get it, that's very professional looking. They know exactly what they got to do to move out. There's no more questions. They don't call us for questions because we've laid everything out there for them. Them calling is wasting our time too. That sounds horrible, I shouldn't say that. But I said that. Small claims. You went through all the way to court. Now, how do you file on small claims? That's all in here. What happens if your house burns? You guys ever had a house burn down? Well, we know exactly what to do. If a house burns down, we deal with the insurance company. Like, I'm not going to try and call them up again. The first time, that was horrible. Absolutely horrible. And I didn't have to make phone calls. I had to listen to my secretary tell me what happened, so I had to make a decision. So she printed this all out. This is exactly what we do. Side note, if a house burns and you insure it for $30,000, that doesn't mean you get $30,000. 25% of it is going to the city or township that house is in, that the house resides in. And if you fix the house, then you get 25% of your money back. If you don't, you're forfeiting 25% of your money. So, side note on that. We fixed it up, we got the check. So, that's all good. So, I mean, fire damage in here. How does she do payroll? How does she do MailChimp? When you guys are marketing properties for a 2-bedroom and you get someone that calls and says, oh, I was kind of hoping for a 3-bedroom. Let me know if you got a 3-bedroom. And they sound like a legit person that you would put in. Is that written down? Do you have them to call? We have them go and get on a priority waiting list. It's free, whatever, it's just an email. And then when we have a property that comes available, we've got thousands of people on it. One button and it sends it all out to people that have already called us, already possibly applied, that we're interested in. Now, if we know they're not going to get approved, I mean, we might remove them from the list. So that's all out there. But it's click, 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 and it just went out to thousands of people. A lot of times we'll rent a house before we even have to market it, just from this list alone. Like, you've already got people calling, they want a 3-bedroom, whatever, and you got one that popped up, why would you call them first? You know what I mean? Or send them an email. It's quick and easy. Let's see what else we got. How we do our lock system when tenants move in and out, sample letters, QuickBooks, confidentiality agreements, stuff like that. Yes, it's a lot of work, but when it's done, this is awesome to have, that I don't have to worry that I'm going to forget something. I don't have to worry if something happens to my secretary or my marketing girl. This is done and I can still move forward very quickly. There's no way I can remember all this stuff. I forgot way more in here than I remember. And I'll admit that. But I don't have to worry because this is printed out for me. And you guys can do the same thing. Everything was in Word, everything was copied, everything was circled with a highlighter. Nothing's expensive, nothing's complicated, and it works. Questions, comments, disagreements?
Tell them what it did for your time.
So I can play with my wife and kids. I don't want to work 40 hours a week. I don't want to do that. We all signed up for the cash flow and to go play, right?
That was the main idea.
I mean, I didn't want to fix a toilet or get a call in the middle of the night or anything like that. I didn't sign up for anything like that. So that's what this does, is it gives you back your time. So obviously it's putting the right people in the house too. Like you put someone in that's just needy and not paying the rent and constantly calling you, yeah, you got a problem. But if you got someone in there that's taking care of the house, paying on time, not calling you, that's the people we approve. So we spend more time, I would venture to bet, we probably spend more time than most people in the room here on our approval or application process. That's where we spend our time. We know more about the applicant than they know about themselves. Like they'll call sometimes and be like, how did you even find that out? Facebook. That's our job. Yeah, Facebook. Yeah, good call. Like that's our job. Why do you want to live in our house? Do you work right around the corner? That's a good reason. Or do you work 700 miles away? Like, you're going to leave pretty soon.
Yeah.
Does grandma and grandpa live right there and you're a single mom with 2 kids? Like that makes sense. There's a babysitter right there. You're gonna put down roots right there in my home and stay there forever. That's what I'm looking for. Like, why are you wanting this house? Is it family? Is it friends? Is it is it work? Is it your favorite hobby is race car driving and my house is right next to the racetrack? That makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, move on to the next person. So,
How did you find your assistant?
so you start talking word of mouth. You start put. You can go on Craigslist and stuff. You can put other things out there. I started talking to everybody I knew. So let's talk about secretaries. It doesn't have to be expensive by any means. Single women, men. Stay-at-home men and women, retired men and women that just want something to do. Mine is a single lady that lives in an efficiency apartment and has a little bit of anxiety issues. She wants to stay at home. She doesn't want to go out. Great. She runs my whole business out of her apartment. Marketing girl does the same thing. Like, that's the job she's looking for. It makes me feel good that I could supply that for her. I'm not, the rich, greedy landlord trying to make her work for pennies. That's not it. That's exactly the job that she's looking for. She wants to be, and I let her work on her time, on her schedule. Tomorrow she can't do this for me because she's going to go to the zoo with her grandkids. Awesome. That's what I want to be doing too. Like, I support that 100%. Go with the kids. You'll get your stuff done. The stuff most of the stuff that needs to get done doesn't have to be done now. You know what I mean? Even weekend calls, right? The worst thing that's going to happen is water, fire, or blood. None of those I'm getting out of my jammies and going over there for. So I will talk to you on Monday morning.
So, I know my sister worked for you as a marketing girl before she got another kid. And how do you pay? I think you were paying per email and per call. How was that set up? So
the marketing girl gets paid per phone call. So she's not encouraged to talk and gab on the phone. You get someone that's really chatty, they're just, why? So if you want to talk for 5 minutes, you can talk to them for 5 minutes, but I'm only going to pay you for that phone call. So she's encouraged to say the things that she needs to say, which is just get them an appointment, get them in the house. That's all they want. That's what they're calling for, is to get inside the house. They don't care about you, your company, whatever you did, your landscaping. They could care less. They just want to get inside. So she gets paid for the emails to respond to them and the phone calls.
How much per email?
$1.
How much per phone call?
$1.
How do you check the phone calls?
Google Drive. Spreadsheet. She puts them in there because that's how I see too. She puts them in there of the times, the people that are calling, and a comment about it. Their section 8. They have 17 pit bulls and looking to buy another rooster or whatever. You know what I mean? These are things I want to know. So she gives me quick little comments about them. We'll call back later. Doesn't know if she likes the area. Okay, whatever.
Do you give them a phone?
Yeah. The iPhone 7, I think it is, whatever. That's all they need. Pick up the phone, She makes all the appointments just on the iPhone. So she's encouraged to just get the appointment scheduled and done. The emails, guys, how many times have you emailed a company and they don't email you back? Sucks. You're like, man, why don't you answer my email? So we answer our emails, even at the end when it's rented out and they start piling up, like we've already got it rented, but it takes a day for that person to get the paperwork signed and blah, blah, blah. All these emails start coming in because it doesn't come off the market until it's rented. So then when it's rented, Megan calls, make it cold. She shuts everything down, and then she goes back and emails all those people. All the emails are copy and paste too. They're all asking the same thing, because most of them just hit the stupid button that says I'm interested, right? So it comes to you, I'm interested, please give me a call. I'm curious about the rent. That's what their copy. Our copy and paste says, please give us a call. This is all the information about the house. Give us a call at your convenience. Copy paste. So she just goes through, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, done, done, done. Every once in a blue moon you get someone that's got some specific questions. Okay, so she takes 2 more seconds and writes another sentence. But keep it simple and get it done. Done is perfect and move on. Does that make sense? Does that help anybody?
And just so I'm clear, you said you can pay her completely as needed? That's it?
Yeah. There's been months, I give her a base fee too. Like I've had months where I'm 100% booked, nothing on there. She gets $100 a month to just have my phone sit in her purse. What do I care? Like that's good.
Have you ever used VAs?
Yeah, VAs are great. I've got no complaints with VAs. They'll pay $3-4 an hour to have someone in the Philippines work for you. Yeah, I've got nothing.
And if anybody in here needs a VA, just shoot me an email. And I went through all the work of getting VAs myself. So I found actually a guy in the Philippines who has a VA staffing company, like in the Philippines. And so you just have your point, like I give you his email, you tell him what you need, he sets you up with what you need, and you pay them weekly. It's super easy. Because I had a week to find my first VA. So this one guy, I've been using the same company like 5 years now, all through this one guy. So I've hired telemarketers through him, all sorts of weird projects. I just hired him for Google reviews on a side project. And somehow they found
VA?
virtual assistant.
Oh, VA.
What's a VA? That's old school right there. It's still working though. I'll give it to you. It's still working.
Hey Jason, how many times a week do you jump out of an airplane?
Many times. Next question.
What day of the week do you send 7 days?
On the second. Rent's due on the first, right? 7 days go on the second. They call. Oh, it's only the second, blah, blah. Oh, it's just computer generated. Pay the rent. Well, it was. She had to hit print and went to the computer. And that's what we're here for, right? Is to collect the rent. So here's what's happening at all times. At 100% of the time, someone's being trained. Either you are training your tenant or they are training you. It never stops. So if they are paying on the 4th, and then the 5th, and then the 8th, and then the 9th, and then the 10th, and you are letting it go, they are training you. Pretty soon that'll get further and further. If we put a deadline on the 2nd, we can pay it on the 3rd. Or the 4th when they make extra money. So treat it like a business, guys. It's all about mindsets. I encourage you to get out of your comfort zone and try these things. I mean, all these things, these speakers get up here and they talk all this great stuff. Like, this sounds great and wonderful. At least it did when I first heard it. And then I started trying it. It works. This is not complicated. The kids can do this for you. Secretaries will make you money, not cost you money. Let me give you an example about that. I feel like some of you think I'm lying about that. Okay. I am not a computer guy. I don't know if I've made that very clear. How many of you guys are doing the Home Depot rebate from Menards? 3-4 people. So, Menards does that 11% thing all the time. Home Depot honors all of that. So, my secretary, the wonderful lady that she is, printed a step-by-step of what you do to submit it, and Home Depot will mail you a gift card for 11% off your projects. This month alone, my secretary handed me a stack of over $2,000. Free money. I didn't do a thing. I met her, whatever, she picked up my mail, she did whatever, you know, we meet once in a while. She handed me my mail, she gives me a stack. She even, on the back of it, scratches off the stupid code. And on the front, she in Sharpie, she writes the amount. And gives me this huge stack of gift cards. It was over $2,000 this month. I am not going to go home and do that. I don't got the time, the patience, the willpower to do any of that. So she made me over $2,000 by doing that. Like, that's good stuff. That's
Are you still buying in the city?
absolutely. If you're selling, give me a call. I buy all through Genesee County. We also do flips and rehab. If you got a project that you want to rehab, give me a call. I'm not up here for that though. So any questions on this?
Jason, so have you changed security deposits? Are you still using security deposits, or are you taking an upfront fee and then giving the credit for how clean they make the house?
Security deposit. We also allow them to pay extra money every month in a special savings for them that they can put in extra money every month if they want to build up for like at Christmas time. So they build up $25 every single month that goes into a fund, and come Christmas, they can call up and say, how much is in my fund? It's like, oh, you built it up to 400, would you like to apply that? Yes. They never call to apply it. But when they move out, I've got an extra $400 in that account. That happens all the time. Rent is $695, they always put in $700. At $5 every month, they always forget about it. And I'm not trying to scam them, whatever, like they legit call, I'll put it in there. And when they move out of the house and the house is clean, we put it on the transmitter and give it back. I've got no problem giving back 100% of your money. That'd be awesome if I could do that every time. That means the house is in perfect condition the way I left it. Like I don't gotta do no turnaround. I'll give you back your money, I've got no problem with that. But if anything's broke on that list, that's how much you get charged. Does that make sense? I mean, do you agree? Raise your hand if you disagree. We can have an adult conversation.
Oh, so you hand them, I know that they're doing the lease, they sign, I understand, these are the charges I'm going to be charged.
Yep.
They said, yeah.
They get a 1/2-inch binder when all of our tenants move in. Has everything they need to know. Where to call, where to do this, where to shut off the breaker, where to shut off the water, who to call for an emergency, who to call a sewer company, the charges you're going to be done, your lead-based paint, the book, there you go. Everything you need to know, and it's put in the different information. Their name, their date, the address, it's a couple little fill-in blocks. Print.
So every tenant gets a move-in book, and that's all the information they need.
Why not?
They get their own policies and procedures manual.
Yeah, absolutely. So when they call and, well, blah, 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 what's the lease say? Well, it says that I owe whatever. Okay, when will that be in by?
Is this after they sign the lease, you produce the book?
No, right there. That's the moving process. They go through it. There's no printer in the... Keep it simple, guys. We just have 2 of everything. So we lay it on the table. They sign this one, they sign this one. Turn the pages. They sign this one, they sign this one. When we walk out, we got a signed copy, they got a signed copy. I'm not trying to scam anybody. It's all on the up and up. It's all spelled out very clearly. This is what we expect from you, and this is what we intend to do. And the lease is all just for worst case scenario. You only really evict because they didn't pay the rent. They moved in their brother-in-law in the basement. Whatever. I mean, I know some of you disagree with that. That's fine, whatever, to each his own. Maybe he'll pay some of the rent. Maybe, I don't know. I don't care. Take care of the house. Pay the rent on time. Don't bother me.
In that order.
I don't see anybody disagreeing, but here's the challenge. Go do it. Go do it, guys. This is not hard to do. So,
Have you ever been stung, I don't know, they call it the plumber, and it's a big bill, they disagreed or whatever, just take it out of their security deposit?
so why was it backed up? Because they put the kids' toys down there?
What if the roof leak and they come out and they...
If it's a legit an issue for the house, we'll pay the bill.
and they-
The sewer company will call me up or call our office and say, should talk to, this, yeah, I don't have a problem paying that. If there's sand in it or roots, the lease says all that. If there's sand, roots, or gravel in the sewer line, that's what caused the backup, we'll pay 100% of that bill. But if the sewer company writes anything besides that, we get so many things in there, that's their bill, and they can take it up with the tenant. Why do I gotta be the middleman? I didn't plug it. I gave it to you in perfect working order.
The funny thing is, once I started doing that, I used to pay for sewer cleanouts all the time. Once I started doing that, having them call and schedule their own sewer clean, it was weird. I never got sewer bills anymore. It was sewer cleanup bills from the drain company. Because it was always their fault.
Who's training who? That's what it comes
I
down
think you
to.
got a question back here, Jason.
Yeah, it was a quick question. I'm just curious, hi Jason, thank you. On your multifamily stuff,
I'm on a single family.
All right, thank you.
Easy, bullet points. I mean, I'd like to get into multifamily. I just haven't found the cash flow like my single family. Find your own niche. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
you doing inspections? Do you got a scheduled inspection on your worksheet?
Is this recorded?
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit later. Next question. Yes.
What hours do you require your girls to work?
Whenever they want. Whenever they want. She sometimes gets up at 4 o'clock on Saturday because she can't sleep and she wants to do some stuff. She does it at 4 o'clock on Saturday morning. Sometimes she needs 2 days off because her grandbaby's doing some recital thing. Awesome, go do it. Just as long as the work gets done, I don't care when it gets done.
Oh, that was great. Can I have a follow-up question?
Sure.
Do you have an after-hours call line?
Nope.
Don't work.
Nope. But the biggest thing is going to be water, fire, or blood. And I'm not going to any of those. Call 911, I'll talk to you on Monday. Like, what are you going to do if the house is on fire? You going to go out there with a bucket? You going to help them move their stuff out? If someone died, I'm not going out there. That's not my job.
That was a whole mentality shift because all of us people are like, oh my gosh, in case there's a crisis happens, I got to be here to answer it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, who cares if a crisis happens? It's not your crisis, it's someone else's problem, and it's going to be there on Monday.
So 99% of the time, okay, that might be, I haven't got the actual stats on that. Most of the time, they call and leave 17 messages over the weekend that the basement's flooding, the end of the world is now here, it's a swimming pool down there, it's all the way to the top of the floor, the roof's floating off the house, oh my gosh, you need to call now, blah, blah, blah. I mean, she actually gets those calls and then she's like, she gets to the point where she sees the number and just delete, like you don't even listen to the voicemail. You call them up on Monday, at 9 o'clock, like it doesn't have to be 6 a.m. Monday, 9 o'clock on Monday when we open. Yeah, 123 8th Street, got a voicemail? Is there something we can do for you? No, we sucked it up the shop back. Thanks for calling, man. Have a great weekend. Like 90% of the time, that's what it is. Like you guys, a lot of you guys are homeowners. Like, you suck it up the shop back, if someone's not there, you take care of it. Same thing with rentals. They're adults. Why do I gotta babysit them? We tell them when you move in, we treat you like a homeowner, not a tenant. Don't call us if the light bulb's out. Change it. It's right in the lease. You're responsible for X amount of responsibilities. We'll come out and do it, but we're going to charge a service fee. So change the light bulb, suck up the water, adjust the little flapper thing on the toilet, clean the dirt out of the sump crock. We did all those 3 stupid things, and they do it all. They take care of it. They have pride in the home that they live in. They plant little flowers around. They put little fences around little things. They do all kinds of little things. They're treated like a homeowner. Yes, sir.
I know we're wrapping up. The very thing you're saying now, let's get the shop back. I've been there, done that with too many tenants where I'm like, no, I do not count on them to do that. Because I have to treat some of them in the past like irresponsible adults that I will have to go make sure that they clean it up because they don't care.
Okay.
But then I had a season where I, as you described, and I'm hoping you can speak towards this, where I took more time. It was agonizing. Property might sit empty longer.
Yep.
to seek out better tenants?
There you go.
I'm hearing you speak to some things that sound like you have found a way to cultivate your mindset about the real estate business, and that drives the decisions
Yes.
that implement these systems. How can you speak to us about shifting our mindsets? Because some of us may be on call and feel good about it and need some help to make that shift.
Perfect. So on my sheet of everything that they go through, I'll call the landlord, call the employer, look them up on Otis, look them up on a sexual predator list. Nowhere on that sheet will you see gut feeling. You won't see it on my sheet. Because I don't care about my or any of my marketing girls' gut feeling towards anybody. Care less. What does all their paperwork say? They've got a credit score of 102. They've got 17 evictions. They've moved to 37 houses, and Facebook has got nothing but pit bulls fighting and whatever. Maybe I should look for someone else. But they were super sweet, you know, and they ate my grandma's cookies that I took over there. Has nothing to do with gut feeling.
How do you shift your mindset?
It's not easy. So the mindset's everything. It's your relationship with your wife. It's your work mindset. It has to do with your money. Mindset is literally everything. What are you guys going to do today? Are you going to stay and have a bunch of drinks and get wasted and pass out here and get hauled away? Or are you going to go home and... I almost got weird for a minute. It's hard. It's a daily challenge. If this mindset isn't working, I need to change something. The definition of insanity. So,
Say to yourself, it's better to have a vacant unit than a bad tenant. And when you start realizing it's better to have a vacant unit than a bad tenant, you start looking for better tenants.
write that checklist down. She literally goes through that entire thing and checks every single thing. And then we have a conversation. She doesn't, that's something that I get involved with too. She does all the work and then we have a conversation. Do they make the money? Do they? So she rattles off all the things I need to know like right now. Boom, 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 boom. And then it's just like, I got 4 others, but you don't even want to hear about them. Great, done. We're done talking about all those 4. Like I didn't do anything. I don't want to talk about it. And then if they're on the line, then I do make a final call. I'm the owner. It's my job to make. It's my job as the owner, and it's your job as the owner to stand on the mountaintop and look at your business and make those certain decisions. It's not your job to do everything down here. And I'm not belittling anybody. There's a lot of people that's the job they want. That's fine. I've got no problem with that. My secretary loves working for me. And she gets paid for what she does, and she does it. My agents love it too. Thank you, man.
Do you have any books or podcasts or anything that you would suggest?
Oh my gosh. Twist my arm to get here. You kidding me? No.
Okay.
I don't do this. I don't get up and speak. I don't.
Oh, no, I'm not saying you. I'm saying that you would recommend to help people adjust the mindset.
Okay. My favorite book of all time, The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yes.
By far, #1 book. I try to read it every year. It's so simple, you won't do it. That's how simple it is. That book alone changed my entire finances on my family. That book alone. All the Rich Dad Poor Dad, all those other ones, the Lebanon books, all these other ones, they're great. Like I've got no complaints. I do a lot of reading myself too. But that book alone is so simple, you won't do it, and you threw away a golden nugget.
You know, Jason, the quandary is that most people in this room search out the best tenant that they can find using the tools that are available to them. I know you do, and I know I do.
Yep.
But after you do this diligent search, the credit was good, the last landlord had a good word to say, and the car is pretty decent, we still fail.
Yep.
We probably still fail.
Same.
5-10% of the time.
Same here.
And what do you attribute that to? We've done our due diligence. We follow the rules, so to say. Where do these people come from that let us down?
Welcome to Earth and dealing with people. Are you kidding me?
People change, right? I
Why doesn't everybody show up on time, do what they say they're gonna do? Like, that's my, yeah, you don't want to go there. So, I have the same thing too. We do all that stuff, and we get a bad tenant that trashes the house. So let's go to mindset like this gentleman keeps bringing up. I can either cry and piss and moan, or get the guys out there, get it turned, get it rented, make more money, and get back out playing. Whatever. Go buy another rental, make some more money, make it back. That's what we do. Go buy another one. Or at the market rate, sell it. Whatever. Make a business decision and move on. Like, I don't want to be laying down at night and thinking about a rental. Do I from time to time? Yeah, I do. It sucks. I hate it. But I don't want that to be my focus. Any questions afterwards? Feel free to talk to me, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason, for coming out. So right before we get out of here, we have Bernard to introduce one vendor. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were here. So Bernard's going to introduce you really quick, and then we'll do 50-50 and get out of here.
You know, I'm just going to keep it simple and the thing of simplicity. And get out of your own way, as Jason was just sharing with us, that sometimes we overthink this and make this business way too hard. During the pandemic was an eye-opener for me that I can't, quite frankly, I hate going to go open properties or paying someone to go open properties, particularly in an environment where sometimes people are just flaky. I had 3 no-shows for different occasions today that, frankly, I built my life not to have it be broken by those folks not showing to be late today. But the gentleman we got here is Dwayne Williams. He operates VSpec 360, and he's going to tell you about his services for 3D tours, videos, and photography for your properties, so that frankly, people go check it out, and you don't have to be there.
What? That doesn't work.
How we all doing? My name is Dwayne. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Jason, for speaking. Definitely a lot of insight. I own the company VSpec 360. We focus on laboratory 3D tools. And I don't mind saying it purely just because you have the technology, you understand the level that you're getting versus pretty much Google Street View. Everybody has used it before. When you're using Google Street View, you kind of want to jump through time with what we do. It's a very smooth transition. One of the important things that I like to point out is we all experience COVID, especially you guys. As homeowners, as landlords, you get to experience how restricted, life could get for all of us. Well, that's where my business really blossomed, is because, like I was saying, you don't have to waste the time of going back and forth, wasting gas, or in his case, paying somebody, to go back and forth. It's really affordable, which is one of the biggest things that people don't understand. Yes, you can say, okay, well, I can do it for free for myself, but how much are you wasting in gas? How much are you wasting in time? Are you at home now with your wife and kids, or are you actually going and unlocking that door, wearing a mask and everything else in between? As far as pricing and things go, literally, you can, $50 a month. I was just going to put it there. It's $50 a month per tour. These things are very simple, but as far as systems, it's highly important because of the fact that now you are freeing up that time going forward. And that's something that I was extremely pressed on. And then last but not least, as far as credibility goes, we work with MOP. We're in the process of finishing up our tour with MOP. We are looking to close the deal with Kettering very, very soon. We have the information in state. I'm proud to say I got invited to Africa. So this is really something that's important. And I feel like it's the next wave of the future where automation and being able to see the space is highly important. So once again, thank you. I have cards up here, and you can just talk to me. Well, I'm sorry, do you have any questions? This? Okay, you go.
You running drones?
Yes, sir. I definitely do drone footage. I do commercial. I actually just got another one for his church. So, yeah, we do the whole gamut. Yeah.
We do inside the home.
I'm sorry?
We do inside the home.
Yeah, so we actually got a baby drone. It's really, really cool. We actually fly that inside if we are creating video. But outside of that, the actual 3D tour itself, it is all of the interior. And outside of that footage, those commercials, those types of things, we actually put them inside of the actual tour. And that's actually what attracted the colleges to us. So now, in their case, the colleges, we have the 3D tour, you can walk around the building, But at the beginning of every tour, there's a video that actually pops up. Hi, my name is Sid Greer. You were inside of this building. These are the amenities that you will find inside of this building. Well, we take that same concept and in you guys' case, you flip it and now you use it for, you guys' property. So yeah.
Can you watermark that?
Yes, the videos? Or, yes, you definitely can.
And so after you're done with it, who owns the video?
So you guys own the video. We give you video if you bought it, obviously. We get you your video with your own watermark if you have one for your company. Outside of that, we give you photos that you guys own. The only thing is that you don't own the actual tour itself. The reason why you can never own the tour is purely because we have to pay for the storage or the space on the server monthly, just the way that you guys would. So as you guys already know, if I say, okay, you guys are going to pay a one-time fee for forever, eventually this asset will now become a liability. So to prevent that from happening, it's a monthly membership. Now, the beautiful thing is that you don't have to stay with it. And that's one thing that we tell all of our customers. My grandmother and my grandfather, they weren't married, but my grandmother always told me that she was cooking. If you know your worth and you're able to bring it, the ring is only just a bonus, But my grandfather did. Came home every day, he handed over that check. No ring necessary. I don't need a ring, right? And the reason why is because I bring enough value to where if you want to walk away, sure. I'm quite sure more how you think about it.
So do you guys know what a Matterport is? Anybody here experience them?
Yes.
Who has not experienced a Matterport? All right, so a Matterport is where, he shows a picture of a house, and you literally on your phone or with your mouse can look around, you can see the ceiling of the entire house, and then on the floor of the house will be a little circle. And you click on the next circle, and it walks you over to the next one, and you look around, and you can see the whole house 360-degree views. So it literally does eliminate people actually seeing a property. So he said a college doing it, it now eliminates college tours because they can walk from their dorm room to the cafeteria in the Matterport.
It also does a downhouse.
Yes, and a 360 view. Yeah.
And I've had to do it in the past where I had a building, it was a 14,000+ square foot building. The process of doing that then gave me the blueprint of the building. So I had my measurements, my dimensions, the layout of the building, and I had that. So I didn't have to go hire an architect to get those numbers. Now I would for the actual construction, but for just doing the numbers, the square footage, the dimensions, that was an add-on to the Matterport service that now I've got. If I need to tell someone this is your unit or this is your section, there it is. I'll just throw this out there. We had a house that we bought in 06, almost 4,000 square foot, 7 bed, 4 bath in the city of Flint. And at that time it sprays real good, and we've been underwater for forever. I had tenants in the house that were considering moving about four months into the year. While they were still living there, because I had this digital resource, I was able to, in my office, sell the house to a new buyer without them having to step foot in the house, disrupt the existing tenants, or get them nervous. The deal was already settled because they were able to have that experience virtually before going in there. So we think about having a tenant in the house that's not paying, but I gotta get somebody in there because it's in Flint, if it's empty, somebody's breaking in. I can already pre-tour that with the new tenant and make my transition that much more smooth when that old tenant goes out. So this is save my time, save my energy, and save my property because it's not sitting empty unnecessarily long. Thank you.
The last thing, as far as one of the things that we also bring up, I forgot to mention, which is also why products use. We also have the ability to post our tours on the Google. So directly on the Google, which is highly important. The reason why is because instead of having your own website that you're hoping that somebody knows or looks at your business card and goes to your website, what we do is we post your property on Google. So 123 North Street or whatever the street may be, once you go and click it type it into Google, not only does a picture pop up that you're already going to see from Google Street View, our tour pop up right beside it, which is highly important. So now, inside that tour, as you're looking around, you'll be able to see a link to your personal website. So in this case, ufmflint.com, .org, you're able to see that. And so now you click that. And so now people are pulling directly from Google right over to whatever preferred landing page, whether it be for rentals, whether it be to call us directly, that call to action, whatever it may be, it's all right there. So yeah.
So that was a mindset change. I'd like to be the first one to get a business card.
I would like to be one of those. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. All right.
So our last thing is 50-50. If this guy here in the amazing Hawaiian shirt could draw, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, you gotta go home,
This is one. So we got the last four digits, 5281. And thank you guys who bought 50-50 tickets. This helps contribute towards our PAC to give campaign donations and fight legal things at the city of Flint, typically. But 5281. Who's our winner? We got a winner. Thanks for coming out. All right, you have a good day. Thank you guys for coming out. You guys all have a blessed night.
Good job.